Yeah, I think that
Like
looks
that?
about right.
Okay.
Talk to me.
1, 2,
Yeah,
1,
beautiful.
2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2.
Stop. Wilder Show.
Shut up.
Podcast. What are you talking about?
You're saying stop.
No, this is, well, we just began.
Shut up.
No, this is the beginning.
Okay.
That was the beginning. Now we keep going.
Okay.
I'm Scott. Obviously, that's Lauren.
We're going for no edits. Straight through.
That would be a surprise to most. Instagram, find us there. You can search Wilder Show Pod, and thanks. If you want to send us email, it's podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time, or before on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, and on the TikTok now and again, wherever you get your podcasts. As we slow down for emphasis, Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever you get your podcasts, please like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share, and comment. We like your comments. We read them. We see them.
In a world where comments are something that people fear, I think, or sometimes try to keep, or turn them off sometimes because they don't want the negative stuff that can come from, from trolls or people who wish them ill. I anxiously look for the comments.
Yeah, exactly.
I think because I have faith that all of our listeners would
be nice
be
or whatever,
kind and friendly and offer. I'm not saying don't ever offer criticism, but I think if they did, it would be constructive criticism.
Anyway, welcome. If you're brand new, just send us a note. Just either podcast@wildershow.com or wherever. So we have lots to do. We've got a little Barack Obama stuff to do. A little Nancy Guthrie update we have to do. Little Olympics we got to do.
Yeah.
But we start with this. Robert Duvall is dead.
I know. I was kind of sad to see that. 95, though,
Dang.
When I looked at, my first thought was, what's the first thing you have to watch?
Okay, what first came to your mind when you thought name the first three that actually came to your mind? Not after you looked it up, but the first three that came to your mind.
Godfather.
Okay.
Tender Mercies.
Okay.
Great Santini.
Okay.
But then I also have one more, too, that I don't think would be on the top of anybody's list. And that might actually be the one that I have to watch to honor his passing. I'll tell you about that after you tell me what are your top three.
Okay. All right. I would say, well, the first ones I thought of were Godfather. Why Do You Hurt Me, Michael? I've always been loyal to you. Actually, I thought of four. The Great Santini, which is insane. Lonesome Dove, where he played Gus McCrae. And then also To Kill a Mockingbird, which was his first movie.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
He was Boo Radley.
Man, oh man.
He was Boo Radley behind the door.
Yeah.
Those are mine. I have a personal tie to one of those. Do you remember that?
I remember that you have a personal tie to Lonesome Dove.
I do. You want me to tell you what it is?
Yes, do.
Okay.
But let me say, first of all, I remember Lonesome Dove. I remember not what was a television miniseries, kids. That's when, 2 episodes would play over several nights on the same
It's a limited series on Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yes. And the first time you watched it, unless you had recorded it, you would have to sit through the commercials and there would be a cliffhanger and you'd wait until the next night. I know I didn't watch it the first time it was on because I thought it's a Western, not really my thing. I'm not that interested in it. So whenever it was replayed, what we used to call, reruns, it came on again. And I'd heard so much about it the first time that I had to see it the second time.
And?
Loved it so much.
Yeah.
At that time, I remember thinking, this is the best thing I've ever seen on television. And now television is so different. There's so much more that we can see on television. But network television, something that was made for network television, I mean, I don't think you can get much better than that.
And I think it was certainly the best Western-themed thing, maybe the best thing ever on network TV.
Yeah.
The small screen, network TV. I think that's probably true. It
was fantastic.
He says the work that he is most proud of, he says, this quote, by far is his role as the former Texas Ranger Augustus McCrae.
Wow.
Gus McCrae in the miniseries Lonesome Dove.
Well, that, speaks well of our experience, too. If we loved it so much, he loved it so much.
He said most proud of that.
Yeah, I
love
love it.
Gus McCrae.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to figure out how to play Gus McCrae.
Uh-huh.
Who actually is Gus McCrae? He went out to a ranch in West Texas of the Texas native and rancher Sammy Baugh, the NFL Hall of Famer, and my relative.
Yeah.
And later he was asked, how did you come up with Gus McCrae?
Uh-huh.
And he said, Gus McCrae is Sammy Baugh.
Man. And he's your mom's cousin?
He's my dad's mom's cousin.
Okay.
So he's my third cousin, I guess. Or first cousin thrice removed. However you do that these days.
Only in Texas.
Yeah. Hey, man, that cool?
Mm-hmm.
That cool. So that is my tie, sort of, to Robert Duvall.
So what are the three movies that did you say that? You didn't say that already.
I said Godfather, Great Santini, Lonesome Dove, and To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay.
You missed that part of the show. This is when I was talking.
I was just waiting for my turn to talk.
You might have been actually listening.
No, I was listening. I was right here. I promise.
Interesting.
I promise.
Okay.
So the little known Duvall movie that I'd actually forgotten about until we started.
Yeah.
You know, we got the news that he had passed away. Hadn't thought of this movie in such a long time. I took a couple of philosophy classes in college. And one of them was at a nearby, actually, I think all of them were at a nearby community college. And I loved them, learned so much. One of the movies that the teacher wanted us to see was a Robert Duvall film called Tomorrow.
Really?
Yes.
Tomorrow,
all in black and white. At the time, I look at it now, this was in the early 80s, okay? Tomorrow was made in 1972. So at the time that we were watching it on a VHS tape in this teacher's living room, because that's where we all gathered to watch it, it was only like 12 years old.
That's funny.
You know, but at the time, now, of course, it seems ancient. And I don't remember I remember what a special time it was to see that movie that this teacher wanted us to see. And it's available on Tubi. Do you know?
I do. Yeah, I know.
We talked about Tubi, right? Free.
Yeah, free.
Everything
you have to
on
watch
it.
ads, but
you
who
got to
cares?
go
That's
through
okay.
the ads.
That's okay.
Yeah, but it's a free app, and that's available on Tubi.
Gotta watch
I
it.
think. Yeah, I think I have to.
That's great. So rest in peace, Robert Duvall. He was also a big tango guy.
He was.
Big tango dancer, like in real life. A couple of things on Barack Obama. You know, at first you heard what he said about, did you hear any of this, the Barack Obama over the weekend?
Tell me again where he spoke.
YouTuber Brian Tyler Cohen.
Okay.
A podcast during a conversation.
I didn't hear it. No.
Well, he was asked about aliens. Did you see that?
About actual aliens?
Yeah. And at first I thought, this is great. They thought, not those aliens. He means like the real aliens.
From outer space.
Yes.
Yeah.
At first I thought he was going to talk about the aliens we could all agree on. I'll give you the exchange. This is actually what he said.
Okay.
It was in a sort of a rapid fire thing, like, Superman or Batman, or whatever. Dr. Pepper or Coke, Pepsi or Coke. Do aliens exist? He said, this is quoting the former president, aliens exist, but they're not out there at, what's it called? Area 51. I couldn't believe he's acting like he doesn't know what Area 51 is. It's not that he doesn't know what Area 51 is. It's like, yeah, it's that thing you were told as soon as you moved into the, what's it called? The White House. I just thought that was so weird. So he said, yeah, aliens do exist. So then he tried to backtrack after that aired. But what I was actually more interested in, he was asked about sort of the homeless situation and specifically California. And he took kind of a jab at Gavin Newsom.
Oh, really?
In his answer. He called it the atrocity of homelessness in Los Angeles. During the conversation, the former president, Barack Obama, explained, we should recognize that the average person doesn't want to have to navigate around a tent city in the middle of downtown. That's a losing political strategy. So whether the young Tufts and the progressives will listen to, hard to believe, what is now the old guard, I mean, he did even oppose gay marriage, at one point.
Early.
So will they listen to the old guard regarding tent cities and things? Or is Barack Obama just trying to say, hey, I want to be a kingmaker, and Gavin's going to have to come and kiss the ring?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting.
It is interesting.
Nancy Guthrie update. First, something different. My first hearing of the word forensic. Do you remember when you first heard the word forensic?
I don't, but there are a couple of cases. You mentioned the Walker Rayleigh case. Could have been that. Using
the actual word forensic.
Word forensic.
Yeah. So that would have been
early 80s.
How old would you have been? You would have been
early 20s.
Yeah. The first time I heard the word forensic was in 5th grade.
Really?
I didn't even think of it this. We were talking about it last week. It was in Miss Haynes' 5th grade class at Adele Turner Elementary School. Go Tigers. Her husband was an FBI agent.
Oh, wow.
And he came and showed us, sort of what he does. And among those things, he dusted some of our desks for fingerprints.
Oh, that's pretty
And then
funny.
he lifted them off the surface with like clear tape and then stuck it on an index card and gave it to us. We wrote our name on it.
Oh, that's very cool.
And those were our fingerprints. I don't think they were put into CODIS right then. Although some of those kids, I think of one kid named Todd. He's the kid that climbed out the window of the principal.
Yeah.
When the principal left the room, Todd was in trouble. And he climbed out the window from the principal's office.
No.
And they found him hiding under a teacher's car in the teacher's parking lot.
Oh, my goodness.
So maybe they did keep Todd's fingerprints and put them directly into CODIS.
I think the teacher's husband might have said, here, just give me that one. Stuck it in his pocket.
One other thing about Miss Haynes, she also is the one, I've told you this before, she also is the one who stood at the doorway with her hands on her hips, or maybe her hands were across her chest, and she said this out loud: "This is the worst 5th grade class I have ever had." Is that great?
Oh, my gosh, that's terrible.
I mean, to actually, with some pride, that I say that I was a part of a group that inspired a professional to actually say that out loud to children.
That was a bad day.
Oh, gosh.
Another reason that I think
great lady, though.
I think maybe the word forensic doesn't, I mean, maybe I heard it before I was in my early 20s, but it might not have stood out to me. I remember having jury duty when I was probably mid-30s, late 30s, and a few of the witnesses were these young women who were forensics experts. Yeah. So they were there that day to testify. And I remember thinking, this is so interesting and what a cool job. They spend their time in the lab, and then every once in a while you get called out to testify on a case. Why didn't I ever think to do something like that? What a fascinating job. And then I thought they probably had to take some science
right.
in college, and I chose a major based on
science.
Give me something where I don't have to take a single science class for the whole 4 years. So that probably would not have been my thing.
It's funny you should say that, because actually, when I was in 5th grade, I remember asking, "What is this? What is this?" And I think his name was Dodson Haynes. Dodson was the guy's name. And Mr. Haynes said, "This is forensics."
Wow.
And that's the first time I ever heard the word forensics.
That was
Forensic
probably,
scientist.
The first little seed of your cyber sleuthing before there was
cyber.
Cyber.
Going into the 3rd week on the Nancy Guthrie thing, I think news stations are scrambling. I do. I think you're trying to figure out what in the world they're going to do.
Yeah.
I think early on it was easy to sort of go heavy, right? She's famous, Savannah. Her mother is 84. There are life and death issues. Her immobility, heart medicine, pacemaker, whatever.
Well, and the fact that it wasn't just that there was no reason to believe that she had some sort of episode and wandered off, but that there was a crime
nefarious,
attached.
But what do they do week 3? I mean, honestly, I think it's, bottom of the hour, top of the news or whatever. They're going to have to say, okay, we got to hit it, top of the hour, bottom of the hour. That's it. As there's nothing new, we're just going to have to say there's nothing new or show whatever. There's a couple of things that are new. And the only updates as of this sitting, and again, now for the fifth time perhaps, we're saying this could all be resolved by the time you listen to this. There's another Savannah Guthrie video. That was kind of odd, released 2 nights ago. President Trump says if Nancy Guthrie is killed, the kidnappers will face the death penalty.
So is that sort of based on where she lives?
I think he's trying to say that he might personally do it, the president. He's
personally
not,
make sure they face the death penalty.
I mean,
he's not the one who will carry it out.
No, I don't know. You never know. But I think he's trying to say that, I'm going to make sure he gets the death penalty sort of thing. But yeah, in Arizona, I think they have the death penalty in Arizona. And if they move this into a federal offense, and if kidnapping was involved or abduction was involved, then I guess it could be a federal offense, which could be, punishable by death. But he says that they will face they or he or she will face the death penalty. Then there is this very weird update. Helicopters are flying around that area, look for something. Mm-hmm. That's not so weird. Makes sense, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Because it did cover a great bit of space. You can see more from the air, right? Mm-hmm. But what if you're looking for something you can't see from the air? What if you're up there flying, looking for something that you can't see?
What do you mean?
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
I was at a store over the weekend, was listening to wireless headphones, little pods in my ear. I took the cart, in a little buggy in and got my stuff and came back to the parking lot, unloaded the groceries in the car, got in the car, pulled away, still listening to the podcast or whatever I was listening to. Then all of a sudden it disconnects. I left my phone in the buggy.
Did that really happen to you?
Oh, yeah. I've done that several times. Look, I've locked my keys in the car with the car running 2 times. I have lots of problems.
You're so lucky your phone was still there, though.
I know. Was in the outside thing, like in the big thing. But that's the thing. I was so close. I pulled away. I was like, oh, my phone. It's back in the little buggy, little holder there in the thing. So, because you drive, you get very far away and it disconnects. Her pacemaker disconnected at 2:00 in the morning from her phone. Remember?
I do.
And that's when we were told that, it was when presumably she was abducted because the pacemaker, which is Bluetooth, attaching to the phone. Mm-hmm. And now back to the helicopters. They are flying over the area near Nancy Guthrie's home. They are looking for something that you can't see. They have high-powered, what's called a signal sniffer.
Wow.
That is attached to the front or the bottom of the helicopter. It looks for the signal of her pacemaker from a helicopter. Now, that's a little bit odd to me. You can pick it up from that far away?
That does seem weird.
The other weird thing is, and I didn't know this, it makes sense if you think about it, even if she is no longer alive, the pacemaker is still trying to work. Is that weird?
It is. I mean,
it makes sense.
It makes sense for sure, but it's not something that I would have thought of.
The battery still going in the pacemaker.
Yeah.
Even if the person with the pacemaker is not still going. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they can handle the coverage. They can't do wall to wall. And it's just, there's also some point it's going to come down the road because nobody wants to talk about it right now. But at some point, someone will say, spent a lot of time talking about one person who went missing. And actually, statistically, in those 3 weeks, this number of children or whatever went missing
People
in
of
America.
All ages, yeah.
Yeah, it's just so, I don't know. I stand by what I said before. I don't think that video that we saw that everybody thinks is from that night. I don't think it's from that night. There's no way for the reasons. Listen to the previous podcast. We laid it out there. Anyway, I guess one other thing is they found a glove, but they found lots of gloves. Mm-hmm. I mean, lots of gloves, like 10 miles away, found gloves. And they did find one glove that they thought was similar to the one in the video. Mm-hmm. And you say, well, wait a minute. They got DNA. They get DNA from it? Maybe. Yeah, they did get DNA from it. And say, but wait, what if that's not in CODIS? Okay, that's okay. CODIS is that national database.
Right.
But they do have DNA from the house that did not match any of the pool guy or the housekeeper or any of the people in her family.
Known to be in the house.
So they knew it was that DNA identifies as male. And if this DNA that they found 2 miles away in this glove matches that, then perhaps you have that. And then after that, they'll go and talk to that blonde that is really good at finding somebody's third cousin. And then you find out who did it. You know what I'm talking about? That familial thing they do.
No.
Oh, come on. Yeah, it's actually very creepy because they can find familial DNA. So let's say the guy's not in CODIS, but she can go access the private databases of like 321 or whatever it's called.
23andMe?
23andMe and different ones.
Things like that.
Ancestry. Some of those things are public. And so you can find the familial similarities from a DNA standpoint. And she creates like this big family tree. And she can say, okay, this person is he's a direct descendant of this person. And they go back and they find out. You'll see.
Wow.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that before, that's sort of
I don't
a new.
think I have.
It's wild. And it's kind of unsettling to me.
Yeah.
Because they say that, you may have never done the 32-and-1, or what's it called? It's 32-and-1?
No, it's
23andMe.
It's 23andMe.
You may not have done 23andMe, but somebody you know did. Somebody in your family did.
I do know people in my family who
then all
have.
they have to do is find out if you leave your touch DNA somewhere. They go, well, we didn't find it but we did find for so-and-so, and this person is likely the sister of that person.
Wow.
So it's like, even your kin, can turn you in. I mean, not you, but.
I hope not.
The Quad God. The Olympics,
yeah.
Did you watch?
I really didn't. No.
I'm watching the Olympics Friday night.
I I watched some of the stuff like in the evening, like some of the recap things, but I didn't really spend any time sort of, glued to it.
I'm watching the Olympics on Friday night, and I was actually in the middle of the Olympics. I was wondering about the news. Specifically, how do newscasts handle this? Because I love when the Olympics are happening in another land, especially another time zone, because you can watch them live if you want to, or you can wait and watch them very nicely packaged in the evening, which makes it, more action-filled viewing experience. And amazingly, the thing you're waiting to see most isn't available till the end of the broadcast.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird how they work that out? But I like to know about things, as soon as they happen. So I knew some things, but I'm watching the Olympics, waiting for the kid, Ilya Malinin, the quad god, to do his thing. I'm leading by 5 points, guaranteed to win a gold medal.
I'm so glad I didn't see it. That's the kind of thing that just kills me.
Guaranteed to win a gold medal for the U.S., waiting for his event. There's a commercial break that is followed by an NBC5 local promo for the news. There are at least 100 ways they could have promoted what they were going to do in the news, which is coming up after the Olympics.
What did they say?
They didn't choose any of those more than 100 ways. They said, devastating night for the...
No way.
I couldn't believe it. I thought, don't you want people to keep watching
your
channel?
Television's shutting off.
You're always
all
good.
Over the North Texas area.
And I mean this sincerely. You are always good to challenge me and say, what would you have said? You said that earlier today about something else. What should she have said? Well, what would you have said? And so I can tell you right now, the right way to do that is to say, going for the gold, it's the quad god. We will have the results following the Olympics.
Sure.
That's all you say. You don't say that he was splayed out on the ice and show the still picture in your promo.
No.
I mean, seriously.
Maybe they were trying to help people like me who know that I can enjoy it so much more if I already know that it has a happy ending.
Yeah, I felt bad for him because he did blow it. But you know what? To his credit, at the end, he's interviewed afterwards, and he's really fighting back tears.
I'm sure.
And he tells NBC, I blew it. That's what he said after his program. He said that maybe his mind was all over the place. He said it was scrambled by a flood of personal memories and pressure from his first Olympic Games. He says he might just have been overwhelmed.
Poor guy.
Yeah, blurred his focus. So, and actually later they were actually concerned that he was mentally well. He had posted some kind of troubling things. Yeah, I'm not going to.
I hadn't heard about that.
Mm-hmm. And one more thing about the Olympics before we get to scattershoot. We talked about control the language, that you cannot give over the language. You have to control the language. There is, in the Winter Games, there's a thing called women's moguls. You know what this is? Women's moguls. Moguls is the
skiing,
thing.
Right?
It's skiing. I'm sorry. It's snow skiing. And it's those things that are little tiny mountains, little tiny humps. They boom, 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 boom. They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's all about how quickly somebody can go down. And sometimes they miss one of the moguls and they have to go around something. And if they get outside the lines, they color outside the lines and they're in trouble and they miss the thing. Mm-hmm. Anyway, one of the competitors in the women's moguls is named Ellis Lundholm. Ellis Lundholm. And so in covering her for this, here is what was said. Getting off the course here, though, these are the commentators. Uh-huh. Getting off the course here, though, she skids out of the gate. She's going to hop up and go around and make sure she doesn't DNF. That's did not finish. Okay. As she continues down the line here. And that aired on NBC.
All right.
Yeah, on the Peacock, actually.
Mm-hmm.
There was one problem. NBC had to issue a massive apology.
On behalf of whom?
The commentators. They chastised the commentators for their commentary. Uh-huh. Because they called her a her.
In the women's mogul.
The women's moguls, they called her she.
And they were not supposed to do that?
Yeah, somehow they're supposed to know that Ellis Lundholm has chosen other pronouns.
Okay.
She has chosen he, him. So the commentators that are calling the women's moguls are supposed to, in the women's, and the women's mogul winner is Ellis Lundholm. Congratulations to him. That is insane.
That seems like a lot to expect from commentators.
It's crazy, and they shouldn't have even apologized. It is just insane. Now, you might say, wait a minute, what about the rules where you're not supposed to do it if you're, the International Ski Federation regulations say that trans athletes cannot participate. This is so confusing. I'm just going to have to say it the way I'm thinking of it, okay? According to the International Ski Federation, she can still compete in the she events and call herself a he if she has not begun the jabs that help her become a him.
I understand that.
Is that crazy though? So you got to, among the things you have to know about every single skier, every single biathlete, every single skater, you have to know their personal pronoun choice. That's insane. If you're in the women's event, we're going to call you a she. If you're in the man's event, we're going to call you a he. We're going to trust somebody else upstream to decide that the only people in this, the ones that are in the men's whatevers, those are the he's and the hims. The ones that are in the women's thing are the she's and the hers. You cannot give in to this nonsense. It's madness. Mm-hmm. Oh, it is time for Scattershoot.
Let's go.
The Wilder Show Scattershoot. All right. This is number 120, Lauren. Yeah, it's not bad.
It's a lot of podcasts.
120. The Wilder family motto, going back to the, 1400s, is actually the strongest wall yields to persistence.
Okay.
That is actually the Wilder family motto. Mm-hmm. And actually, if you go back far enough, that word for wall and will is almost interchangeable. Mm-hmm. Some people said that it was the strongest will yields to persistence.
Okay.
And some people said it was the strongest wall yields to persistence. But in either case, it's about, keeping going.
Mm-hmm. The wall is quitting.
Quitting, or the wall is what you conquer to get to whatever level you want in it.
Okay.
Say, gosh, if only I'd known it would take 125 episodes I would have done 5 more. People go, yeah, you know what? You don't deserve it. You don't ever know how many it takes.
What did we discover once? The average. There are first of all, so
3.
many podcasts.
It's 3.
And
46 don't make it to the 4th podcast. 46%. And 63% never make it to the 7th podcast.
It boggles my mind. I will when I'm looking through podcast searches, to find something to listen to, and I'll see something that's hosted by a name that I'm familiar with, and I'll look at it, and there were 6 episodes back in 2022, and they just didn't keep going. And it's not like it was, one story they were telling and then it was over. It's just, it was just sort of, I can do this. Yeah. And then you find out after a little while, it might not be, I don't know, as easy as you thought it might be, or as fun as you thought it might be. It's
a monster to feed. I told you that 1,000 times before we ever started this. I said, man, look, once you start, it's a monster to feed. It's like owning a backyard pool. It sounds fun. The kids love it in the summer, but man, it's a thing.
Sure.
You got to take care of it all the time.
Not that you or I would know.
No, about the
only
pools.
From the experience
Or
of
having
others.
a dog, having a pet. You can't just, things change.
Yeah.
You got to take care of it. You can't just say, oh, it's kind of fun. I like it to be around when I want to pet it, and the rest, no.
We don't call him monster to his face.
That's right.
But we do feed him.
That's right. Hope everybody had a happy President's Day. John West was due on yesterday's date.
Oh, really?
Yeah, originally on President's Day.
Okay.
But he was born early. They took him, induced him, whatever.
Yeah.
Early on the 3rd. Was
he a big boy?
February. He was 7'12", which happens to be my dad's birthday. 7'12",
that's right.
7 pounds, 12 ounces. But he's big now. He's, I think, 28 pounds now on his first birthday. Big.
Very cool.
I guess big, yeah.
How old were you when you got your driver's license?
How old was I when I got my driver's 16?
Yeah.
That's when you can get it. So I got it when I could get it on the day.
But did you get it on your birthday?
I did.
I remember a lot of people. I didn't get mine on my birthday. I got it.
Close. I bet close.
Actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about this, I did spend a little time preparing to talk about this. Okay. But it had escaped me. I was grounded. I can't remember. It had something to do with my birthday party, sleepover. Maybe we stayed. There was no, I was a really good kid. We didn't sneak out or anything like that. I don't remember the particulars, but I do remember that's why I was not allowed to get my driver's license on my birthday, but not that good, I guess. Anyway, so that was in January. I do remember though that I got it on the Monday of spring break. So the next opportunity that we had to get it, I got it. In 1983, roughly half of U.S. 16-year-olds had a driver's license. By 2022, that number fell to 25%. Yeah. So fewer and fewer kids are, and it's not that their parents are saying you're not ready to have a driver's license. Right. It's that kids don't want it.
World.
They're kind of afraid to get it, or maybe they're they don't mind riding with other people, or who knows what all the reasons are. There are probably, nearly as many reasons as there are kids, but the CEO of Uber, who you would think is a beneficiary of the delayed driver trend, says that it's caught him off guard. He's been struggling to get his own 18-year-old son to get a license. Delayed driving goes hand in hand with a broader trend that we've talked about. Gen Z is kind of falling behind older generations across a bunch of social markers. They're not dating as much. They're waiting longer to couple off and start families. They're drinking less alcohol. That's a really good thing, in part because it's so easy to socialize, shop, and order meals online. They just don't go out that much. But if you add to that the convenience of things like rideshare apps, like Uber, promise of self-driving cars, the urgency of getting a license has diminished. They don't see their future as necessarily involving a car. However, this is making parents crazy. because your parents were probably as interested in you getting your driver's license as you were. It meant you were going to be able to help with errands, maybe pick up younger siblings at school. After a while, at least, I don't remember. When my kids got their driver's license, and none of my kids got their driver's license on their 16th birthday, or I think only one of them even got it when he was 16. But there were a lot of other things at play there then. But I know that when my kids got their driver's licenses, you couldn't just, pack the car with kids and take off. You could have, only one other driver in the car who was under the age of... Maybe under the age of 16 or under the age of 18, but there were a lot of restrictions.
At 18, technically it's a provisional driver's license at 16.
Okay.
At 18, it's not provisional. In other words, at 18, you don't have to have had driver's ed.
Oh, I know that. What were those things? Were those same things in place when we got our driver's licenses, though? I have no recollection of that.
But I did, we talked about this before, I did the simulator in the mobile, mobile.
I did that too.
Mobile
at
home.
School. Took it at school.
Took it at school. And you did the simulator. And then you had your hands-on driving.
Yeah. Where you have a couple of other 16-year-olds or 15-year-olds in the back seat. And then whoever was teaching driving
also
from
had
the
a break
school had a break.
on their side.
We've talked about
And
this,
steering
right?
wheel.
Did anybody ever have to use that brake
Not on
you?
me, no.
I had to have the brake used on me one time. We were almost back at school, and I was about to make a left turn on a green light, not a protected turn on the arrow, and the teacher had to slam on that emergency brake. I remember that.
So that was the deal. You had to successfully complete driver's ed.
Yeah.
And then you took your certificate that somebody said, she's worth the risk.
Yeah.
And then you would go to the thing and with your proof that you're 16.
Yeah.
And then that's where you could take the test and get your driver's license.
But what I don't remember is if you were not allowed to have, you could only have one other person in the car.
Oh, that part. If that was the case, we didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Once you got your driver's license at 16, just took off.
Wow.
I think. As I recall, it was, freedom.
Kids don't want to do that as much anymore. And it turns out that even a strong parental nudge isn't always enough to get a kid to the DMV. There's this one mom in Nashville. She really wanted her kid to drive, and she'd been pushing the kid to drive. And so what did she just stopped taking the kid around. She wouldn't take her wherever she wanted to go. And she thought this will coax her into getting that driver's license. But her daughter didn't sign up for driver's ed. She started taking the bus. She's now in college, and she still doesn't know how to drive.
Really?
She gets around mostly on her bike or catching rides with friends or public transportation.
It's a different thing. It's a different day. If that's what they want to do, that's great. For us, it was all about we talked about this before. It all started with the bicycle. When you had a bicycle, you were 9, 10, 11, at least as a guy, you were 9, 10, 11 years old. Your bicycle was freedom.
Yeah.
And it's not that we hated being at home, but we did everything. There was nothing inside.
Yeah.
There were 3 TV channels and one black and white television, right?
That's the whole thing we were saying. All the things you can do now. You can order food from inside your house. You can order your groceries from inside the house. You can do all kinds of things. You can socialize with people online. You don't even really have to go outside to do that. It's completely different.
Yeah.
But I did read. So there are Reddit threads about parents with parents complaining about their kids who are 16 years old and older and don't want to drive. And one mom, compared her kid to a 21-year-old passenger prince, 21-year-old who she's still ferrying around doing stuff. And my first thought was, well, I know it's not easy, but you could just stop. Just stop giving him rides, and he would have to figure it out. Yeah. And then I read the thing about, the woman who said, well, that's what I did, and now she just rides the bus and rides her bike.
If that's the life they want, if they want to be a bike riding person, and I can only travel as far as I can get in my bike, on my bike, and if I get a flat on my bike, I got to have a little pump there and, stand there and pump up my tire. Can't travel in the rain. Can't go to the grocery store, really.
Well, yeah, you can't send them out on errands, really.
Well,
on a
that, you know,
bike,
that I think
depending on the errand, but you can't. There's a lot you can't do on a bike.
I think a lot of times they're sort of a bit of a pampered generation.
Mm-hmm.
They like being younger longer.
Uh-huh.
It's like it's everything is, I don't know.
Don't you think, though? I mean,
we were kicked out when we were 18. That was basically it. I mean, you went to college and there was the expectation you would never come back.
Yeah.
That was it.
Did any of your siblings come back, though?
Yes. I think I came back briefly.
Mm-hmm.
I had a brother that came back. We all kind of came back briefly. But, if you get married rather quickly,
yeah,
you're not back that long.
I don't think, yeah. I think my parents had they took every measure possible to make sure that we were, growing up and gaining independence and doing things on our own at an age appropriate, in an age appropriate way. But there was never any kind of feeling that, when you're 18,
you're not welcome.
You're out of here.
Yeah.
When you're done with, with school, whether it's, at 18 and you're not going to college or whether you go to college, there's it was never anything like that at all. And I don't think that we were pampered because of that.
No. No, but I think it's a different, easy for us to say. It's a different group today.
It might be, but I think a lot of that has to do with the parents.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that for sure.
The kids.
Yeah, parents who are sort of longing to stay the parents of someone who needs them like that longer. I want to be that person longer because when I don't, I'm sort of left with what's left.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that. When I graduated college, I actually had a radio job and stayed living in the apartment that I was living in when I was in college, and then had the radio thing, and then moved back to Dallas. Mm-hmm. When I moved back to home. Mm-hmm. It was fine. I mean, I had a big house, had a room. Room was waiting for me.
Yeah.
All good. But then, sometime after that, married and all that.
Mm-hmm. I went to the post office on Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. And at my post office, there's also a passport office.
Oh, yeah.
And so there are always, not always, but I mean, if they happen to be, most of the time they're open during the same hours. So you usually see people, if you're waiting in line at the post office, you see people coming in and out of the passport office. Okay. And while I was waiting in line for my post office business on Saturday morning, I saw a family come out of the passport office. And it was what I think was a mom and a dad, a young mom and dad, and two little girls. And the little girls were probably 5 and 3, cute little girls. But both of the little girls walked out. They walked out in a single file line, and each girl had a screen in front of their face while they were walking out of the office.
Like not even,
I'm guessing that little screens. So probably, one had mom's phone, one had dad's phone, and they were, using the phones to, keep them busy while they were in the past.
Were they?
I mean, they couldn't have been more than like 5 and 3.
So they're really young, and they got maybe to keep them quiet so mom and dad get their pictures made or something.
Yeah, yeah, or who knows what they, what could have been what they were doing back there. And I understand, wanting to keep your kids, give them something to do. But I guess maybe gone are the days of the coloring book or things like that you might bring, but it wasn't. I mean, they weren't sitting still; they were walking out of the office now, and they each still had the little screen in front of their face. And I couldn't help but think of that when I saw that parents are spending 10 hours a week now. They think fighting screen time. So let me explain this a little bit. It's not that the kids are spending that much. The kids are spending way more than that on screens.
You're arguing.
And now parents are spending extra time trying to figure out ways to keep their kids off of the screens that they say on an average day, their kids are spending about 4 hours a day on a screen like that. And it's personal time on a screen. So it's not the time that the family is sitting together watching something and maybe talking about it and spending, some time doing things together. It's time that their kids are spending on a personal screen.
Parents are afraid just to lay down the law. It just tell them we're not doing that. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry about that. If you wanted it all, this is the way we're going to use it. And I'm not saying that I did it all right.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I didn't have to go through all this kind of stuff.
Listen, I think of that all the time.
I'm so thankful.
Yeah, I'm grateful to have that not have been a thing.
When the boys, we always like to, when I would do errands and we'd go take the boys with me to go to the hardware store or whatever. We go to the checkout stand, and I would usually, I'm kind of a sucker about some stuff. I would say, hey, you boys, pick out a candy there, pick out a candy bar, pick out a piece of bubble gum or something. And every now and then they would say, how about 2? And I would say, how about none?
I have heard that.
I mean, then 1 looks pretty good. Parents, I think sometimes, I'm going to be careful how I say this, but parents, I think sometimes are nervous that they're going to upset their child.
Well, I think that
they don't really want to upset them.
They're nervous about more than that right now. They're seeing this screen time show up in their kids in ways that goes, way beyond the time they're worried about that's being wasted. They say their kids are easily distracted. There's less physical activity, more irritability. They're having trouble sleeping, disengagement from people sitting in the same room. The word that kept coming up wasn't annoyed. They weren't annoyed or frustrated by this. It was disconnected. They felt disconnected from their kids. And that is a term, that speaks more to the quality of the relationship than the logistical thing of connection. It's not like we're disconnected because, we're in different rooms, but you can be in the same room with somebody and feel, completely disconnected. And what we don't necessarily know is if the 4 hours of daily screen time causes the distractibility and irritability, or if kids are already prone to those behaviors, gravitate towards screens more often than they do with the interaction with other people.
You'd have to try it more than one time. If you're in the room with people and somebody says something that you disagree with or that bores you, and you pick up your phone and you start going on your phone, you're not really developing the kind of stuff you need to develop to either endure what bores you or to take in what you potentially disagree with, or to have a conversation with people about either the boring things or the things that might grow your brain a little bit. And it always makes me want to ask, Lauren, how are the kids? As Lauren looks up saying, what? I was just, checking things out anyway.
So when we first started talking about this, I told you that parents are spending 10 hours a week looking for ways to break this cycle. I mean, just think about how much time, maybe you didn't have to do this, but how much time did you ever spend telling your kids more than once to do something? I don't think I ever had to say, just one time, pick up your clothes or pick up your wet towel off the bathroom floor or and that was easy. I mean, there's a draw to this that is, I mean, that people, consider it an addiction.
Yeah, I could see that.
So what parents are saying they're really trying to actively do is get their kids involved. And did you do a lot of crafts when maybe not even necessarily when your kids were little, but like with your dad when you were little? Did you build, or maybe you did with your kids, like build stuff, get them involved? And
you get into events or things at the school, or you have whatever. I mean, your homework is something. And, and it's like maybe you could be doing that before you can access your phone. I mean, it's been 1 hour from 4 to 5 or whatever, doing this one thing. But we were kids, so we go out and play. We come home from school and go out and play, and we would just be outside all the time.
But a lot of parents are saying that something that they remember that was a bonding thing. And remember, these are parents who are like our kids.
No,
age.
I know.
So
They're
that's kind of
stuff,
why I'm going to that age, and I'm thinking of the things that I did with my kids. And we did do a lot of crafts. I wasn't really fighting for screen time. I wasn't trying to keep them from doing something else. This was
Just
just the way
engaging them,
we
yeah,
filled
the way
our
you
time.
parent. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And it didn't have to be anything really involved. I remember stuff I made with my daughter when my boys would go with you and your boys on baseball trips,
yeah.
and she might be home for the whole week of spring break, and the boys would be gone, and we would go find stuff to make,
That's nice.
make stuff while you guys were gone. And that was, and I don't know. I, at the time, knew that these weren't necessarily things that we were making that we were going to keep forever.
It's the activity.
But it was a meaningful way to fill that time.
Sure.
And if she didn't remember the things that we made, she might be getting something from that time we were spending together. It was connection.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what parents are saying that they find lacking in their relationships with their kids, who become kind of disengaged and disconnected from them when they're spending so much time on their screens.
Look, personal encounter, one person encountering another person, is complicated. It is messy. Lauren, listening is more than waiting for your turn to talk.
Why do you keep telling me that? I know.
And so you have to, I have a turn, then you have a turn. And I can't just fire off a little text to you and then turn my phone upside down or go back to TikTok or go over to Instagram and flip, and look at all the reels.
I have a turn and you have a turn, but during your turn, I'm
going to be doing something else.
Well, I have a responsibility to be paying attention to what you're saying.
Oh, no question. I was talking about if you do it on the cyber way, it's like, you can have your turn, but I'm really over here looking at the latest news about whatever. Yeah, so that personal thing. And, you open yourself up to criticism. You open yourself up to bullying. I mean, when I was a kid, if you had a name that was sort of make funnable, they would find a way to make fun of your name. I have a name that I wouldn't imagine you could make fun of, but you can. You know what you could say? You know what they did say? What someone one time did say when I was a young lad?
What?
You're going to think I'm making this up.
Maybe not.
Scotty Waddy fell in the potty, came out with a dirty body.
It made an impression on you. Was that somebody else who was in that 5th grade class that was the worst class she ever had?
But there's something about that. You develop a little tough skin, or you develop a little, your mother wears army boots or whatever, and you get into that. And maybe that's a guy thing, but you get into that thing, where you have to, man up-ish sort of thing. You have to take it. You can't sit there and be a little puddle on the floor, crying and whining.
And this comes from getting outside and being, is that what
I think I'm talking about the personal interaction. Anytime you have personal interaction, it's potentially messy.
Yeah.
And I think kids, for the most part, it's like, I'm going to be really selective and I'm going to be cyber select. I'll connect, but I want to connect not with you.
Okay, listen, I think I would argue that a little bit, though, because I remember telling my kids, especially my daughter, when you say things to each other in text messages, you don't have the benefit of tone of voice or somebody seeing your face.
You're right.
And I don't know how different it was for my boy. I think boys maybe get their feelings hurt a little less easily by things like that. I don't remember my boys ever being upset about something that someone said to them over text message, but I know with my daughter, there were a lot of hurt feelings about things that were said in text message. And I remember thinking, this is a really dangerous way for them to communicate. It would be so much better if they were face to face.
I think that's right.
And it's not just, I think, that had to do with the sender and the receiver. The sender forgets that there is no tone of voice. So, I mean, they're just learning to communicate, and they don't have the benefit of, body language and facial expression and tone of voice and things like that. I do remember that being a difficulty for sure.
My experience is that boys might be more volatile, but they get over it pretty quickly.
They do, and they have.
It's just like you can have a fight with a guy or with your brother. You can have a fight with your brother, and really, honestly, 20 minutes later, you can be playing video games. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Just get over it.
Speaking of video games, did you hear about the kid from McKinney? 26-year-old Drini Joka of McKinney. He won the Madden Bowl.
What is the Madden Bowl?
He made $250,000. the 2026 Madden Bowl winner. He was 13th. You said, what is the Madden Bowl?
You're playing video games, right?
Yeah, but that's
a video game
that's
competition.
the most I can tell you.
No, yeah. It happens after the Super Bowl.
It happens after the Super
right.
Bowl. Yeah, he was 13th going into this year's Madden Bowl, so he was the underdog, but came out the winner. Like I said, $250,000.
Oh my!
But I mean, that's a big deal. But he already has made $760,000 playing professionally.
What?
Playing? I don't know if it's only video. I don't think it's only Madden, but playing video games.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Professionally, since he graduated from high school,
crazy.
More than $760,000. He's already a homeowner.
Yeah.
So I mean. There's the upside to screen time, I guess. There's probably, at some point when Drini's parents thought, get off of that game.
Yeah.
Go outside, or is your homework done? Do so. And this has really worked out well for Drini Joka of McKinney.
Who's got a Lambo now, Dad? Right.
I guess so.
That is the Wilder Show podcast Instagram. Search Wilder Show Pod and then like and all those things. If you want to send us email, just email to podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, also on the TikTok now and again. Wherever you get your podcasts, please. Even now, would you give a little thumbs up, rate, follow, subscribe, and share? And we really appreciate that. And Lauren, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.